Systems can be one of the single greatest additions to your small business or your single biggest friction point driving clients away. Just because I say that is our system or that is our policy doesn't mean that people have to like that system or like that policy and continue to pay for it. Having to follow something that is evidently broken is infuriating, and it will likely cause people to drop your service. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cheer Biz podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cotton, and today we are talking about why I believe systems can pose risk in your business. Now, before we get into the episode, as always, head on over to Facebook and join Cheer Gym Owners on Facebook if you're a gym owner, or All-Star Cheer Coaches and Owners if you're a coach or a coach and an owner. Go to nextgenowners.com where you can learn more about joining the academy and even set up a discovery call to chat with me or Justin or one of our staff about joining the academy. And last but not least, get registered for our conference in Dallas, June 21st through the 23rd. It's going to be an amazing one. We have all sorts of fantastic tracks, to include tracks on how to build your systems that you're not going to want to miss. Now, let's get into the episode. So systems are something we talk about all the time in NextGen. Systems can be one of the single greatest additions to your small business and or your single biggest friction point driving clients away. Now, I want to tell you about an experience that kind of inspired this episode, something that I went through recently that made me think about why I wanted to talk about this. So a lot of you know, if you listen to the podcast, I own Oregon Dream Teams, I run NextGen with my business partners, and I own a company called Dream Camps. Now, Dream Camps and Oregon Dream Teams all used to fall under the same parent LLC. But this year, we decided to separate the two companies into their own legal entities to streamline payroll and some other things and make it a little bit easier when we are filing our taxes at end of year. So I went through the process of separating Dream Camps out as its own S Corp. Now, in doing so, I moved our payroll to a new company, or I was needing to move our payroll so it wasn't falling under our Oregon Dream Brands payroll, which logically makes sense. Now, I went to who I've used for payroll through Oregon Dream Brands since we were in existence, which was ADP. Now, the process with ADP was not good. So we started, and I submitted all the information. I had to get a bank account set up. That was actually a little bit of a headache to do. Once I did have it set up, I reached out to ADP, and they had all of these extra steps I needed to do, some of them that I couldn't do easily and were going to take me days, if not weeks, and lots of time and hours. Now, my time, I believe, is very valuable. And so I didn't want to do all of that. So I looked into Gusto, which some other people through NextGen I know have used and have liked. So I checked it out. And the difference is ADP over 3 weeks and about 15 emails of like, you need to do this now, you need to do this now, you need to do this now. I still hadn't gotten payroll set up for my company. Gusto, I had it set up in 45 minutes. So I had told ADP, I reached out, I said, hey, this process is way too clunky, and so I'm going to be going a different direction. And they responded, well, our systems are in place for these reasons and deliver a consistent result, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, were they following their systems? Yes, they were. They absolutely were following their systems. They had clearly built systems. Was Gusto following their systems? Yes. Which one did I go with? Gusto. Why? Because ADP's systems sucked and I didn't like them. And Gusto's were smooth and easy and made life great. So I went to that provider. You've likely experienced very similar things in the cheer industry with other industry providers, whether it be competition companies or uniform companies, et cetera. So number one, as we look at our systems, number one is that systems should increase the speed to outcome. Now, what am I looking at when I say speed to outcome? I'm looking at the amount of time it takes, time and investment it takes a client to get to their desired outcome. So if my desired outcome is to enroll in your tumbling classes, I really want that to be a very quick and easy process. People are used to Amazon. They want to be able to enter a few things, hit buy, done. I'm enrolled, I'm ready to go. So you want to increase the speed so they get there faster, or decrease the time. So increase the speed, decrease the time, however you want to look at it, but you want to make it happen really, really quickly. You want to get people the outcome that they are desiring as quickly and efficiently as you possibly can. Delay creates opportunity for people to go, I'm not interested. All right. So you need to be looking at the speed of execution of your systems. And is it creating a friction point, much like my ADP experience did? I kept having to submit new information and it was really, really annoying. Number 2 is that systems should decrease the effort required by the customer. Now, this is one that I think is super important in the cheer industry and oftentimes gets missed. When we're trying to market to new clients, we say, here, go to this portal, sign in and create a profile with this class management software. And 25 minutes later, after they've entered every single detail about their entire life, they now have an account. And then they have to go verify their account. And then they have to create a new password. And then once they've created a new password, they go to the back end of the class management software. And then they have 800 classes that they have to scroll through to find the right class that they want to join. And they've now worked their butts off to be able to join your class tumbling program, and people are likely to fall off because you do have a system, but your system sucks. And that ultimately is where things lie. Just building a system is not enough. You need to look at your system and you need to say, does this suck? Is this not a fun experience for my clients? Just because I say that is our system or that is our policy doesn't mean that people have to like that system or like that policy and continue to pay for it. You can do whatever you want within your company, but ultimately we want to decrease the effort required by the customer. Look at it this way. If a competition company so we just went to Worlds and we're headed to D2 Summit, and I know there was All-Star Worlds. If a competition company was able to say, guess what? There is no requirement for check-in beyond a 30-second drop your folder off and you're done. People would love that, right? Because they don't have to stand in line. They don't have to go through all those systems. In fact, we just experienced it at Worlds where they had a system in place for check-in, and you sign up for your check-in time, and then you go and you stand in line at the time for an hour, and there's one person working, and they take your paper, and then they have to go and walk around a table and walk to the back and then grab another folder and then walk back around and bring that to you and then count things. And then once that's counted and you've confirmed, then they have to go around, they have to get these things. And it's was a completely inefficient system. Whereas if we were able to go in, we arrive at our check-in time, it's 10 minutes, you're out the door, bada bing, bada boom. People would love that, right? So is your system decreasing the effort required by the customer? Ultimately, we want to make it as smooth and seamless as possible. So you need to be looking at all of the systems you have within your gym. Just getting a class management system is a good step, but it's not the ultimate step. The people designing those systems do know a little bit about the sport, but they also are trying to build a system that can encapsulate multiple sports, swimming, gymnastics, dance, etc. So it's not going to be built perfectly for what you need. So you're going to have to understand and build in your systems to enroll to get things set up, which is why actually we'll see what happens as our iClass transition goes. But currently, to enroll in our classes, you fill out a form online, and then we're making a personal connection with you to finalize all your classes. It's made it so people don't even have to navigate our class management software. They just have to fill out a really quick form like Amazon, make a payment, and then we hop on the phone with them and get them squared away. It's very, very easy and takes very little time. They're not having to figure it out for themselves. Number 3 is that systems should ensure consistent delivery of your product. So as you're building your systems, you want to make sure that you're building systems that are able to be repeatable and executable by everyone. What we want is for every client to have the same positive, quick, and effortless experience within our business. If you can accomplish that with your system, you're going to increase your retention. You're going to increase your number of sales because taking people's money is super easy. And you're going to have a consistent delivery of getting happy clients over and over and over and over again. It's repeatable and executable. Nothing is worse than a broken system. Nothing. Like, it is absolutely the worst thing as a customer. Having to follow something that is evidently broken is infuriating, and it will likely cause people to drop your service. I'll tell you another story. There is a company that I ordered some stuff for my camps through. It's a very small invoice. They ordered, it was like $120. Getting this $120 paid to these people has literally been the bane of my existence because, well, they can't pay by card and there's no way to pay online. Like, they don't have PayPal. They don't have any online payment software. You can't do anything over email. You have to call, and it has to be between these hours. And then they'll run the card over the phone, and then they're going to charge you a processing fee. And then. And I'm like, dear Lord, I just want to pay you. You make it so hard for me to give you my money. And there is a million different ways to process finances online. So it's ludicrous. Think about any moment you've been in a business where you've been like, oh my gosh, this system sucks. Like, you have one, but it's horrible. Vice versa, go to a Chipotle. They have a system there, right? You line up, you order your things, bam, bam, bam. I can get a fresh-ish meal really quickly, right? Super simple system that functions and delivers. It's quick. It decreases my amount of effort. And it's consistent delivery every single time I get what I'm expecting. So as you leave the podcast, what I want you to do is I want you to reevaluate all of your systems, not just the ones you think interface with clients, but all of your systems. These broken systems can be just as frustrating for your staff as they are with your clients. And believe it or not, systems that are broken are actually likely to impact your staff's decision to stay with you and continue to work for your company. They don't want to work in a broken system that is miserable to work with. Think about, does it increase the speed to outcome? Does it decrease their effort? Does it ensure consistent delivery? If it's not checking all three of those boxes, you're missing something and you need to improve upon that system. Where you find holes, fix it. And last but not least, get a functional class management software, please. Get a functional one. There are some bad ones on the market. Get a functional one. I'm using iClass, and I am honestly obsessed with its new capabilities. It is doing some really awesome stuff. They have some really, really cool things that they have added to it, and I'm a big fan. So I would highly suggest you get on one of the industry leaders in class management software. And just remember, free is often not free. Free is cheap, and cheap is rarely good. Just my 2 cents on that when it comes to things that are free, because they're often not. They hide things in your fees and stuff like that. So I just want you to just be thinking about those things as you're making assessments. Obviously, I have my opinions on what I think is good, and it's my podcast, so I can give you my opinions. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the episodes. I hope you learned something about your systems and what you can do to improve them so they are not a risk for your business, but they are a value add. As always, check out the Let's Talk Cheer podcast and the Cheer Mom podcast, both amazing podcasts that you need to make sure you are listening to. And with that, we'll catch you on the next episode.